Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vishal Fabrics. We have with us Vinay Thandani, CFO at Vishal Fabrics, joining in. Welcome to the show, Vinay, and a pleasure to have you on the show and speak to you. Uh, Vinay, my first question coming to you is, how has the transition been over the last 12 to 24 months, taking into consideration the kind of impact COVID had? Because initial few months, yes, it was a downer, but the way culture changed with people actually moving to denims, etc., that has been one phase which has really, benefited a company like yours.
Thank you, Hiral, for giving me opportunity to be here. And answering your question for last 12 or 24 months, definitely, as you stated, that the first few months were difficult because most of the industries were under the lockdown, and all the companies were facing it's difficult to keep that motivation uptrend on the uptrend. But definitely from the last November, as we are seeing, the textile is seeing a good turnaround in the demand side, and it's from the both of the fronts. It is whether it is a domestic or the export front. And we as a company, as we into the manufacturing of the denim fabric, we have seen a good demand from the export front. Pre-COVID, we used to cater the domestic markets only, and we were more focused on the domestic markets, and we have good footprints there, as we were making almost 1,000 odd crore of top line from the domestic market for the denim segment. But from the export, we learned a lot, and we diversified our portfolio to the exports. And we were fortunate enough that in the first year we were able to capture the good markets and the good huge orders into that. So the second H2 of the financial year 21 turned around to be on the positive side, and we closed the year on the positive note on the profit front.
Right. So overall, right now, if you have to, as you mentioned, that you diverted to exports as well. Earlier, what percentage of your overall revenues came from domestic markets versus exports, and how has it changed now?
See, as I mentioned that we were a domestic centered company, so almost 1% was the only contribution to the top line that comes from the export pre-COVID. But now, as we are making our footprints into the global markets much, so for this fiscal year, we are targeting anything about 10% of the total turnover will be contributed by our export segment. And for upcoming years, we are gradually increasing our footprints on the global front, and we are adding new geographies to our sales basket. And we are hopeful that we are targeting it for anything below or about 20% for next upcoming fiscal year, and we are hopeful that we'll be achieving the same.
Okay, and overall, if you see in terms of where business segments go, if you can just divide it for us.
See, as I told you that if talking of Vishal Fabrics per se, we have two units in the two different segments of the business. First segment is an ROL unit. It's an older unit. It is a process house which was incorporated in 1985. And by the lapse of the time, it increases capacity to the tune of 105 million meter per annum, which can be processed at that unit. And that is a stagnant unit now that's generating a revenue of almost 250 crores per annum. And the most recent expansion in the Vishal Fabrics is of the denim segment, which commercialized in 2016, and its full commercialization of the capacities was in July 2018. So that contributed 1,050 crore in FY20 on the top line front. And now we are expanding the denim capacities to the tune of 25% of existing capacities also. And it is also in the modular phase. 50% of that expansion will be carried in this fiscal year and another 50 in the next fiscal year. So this is how the things are positioned in the company at this point of time. And we are expecting that in upcoming year, we will be seeing a growth in the denim segment.
Right. So currently, what does the sales, etc. look like?
At present, for this fiscal year, we are targeting anything like from 1,400 to 1,500 crore for the company as a whole. And as I mentioned, that the older unit will be contributing a 250 crores from the top line, and we are targeting anything about 1,200 crore to 1,300 crore from the denim segment.
Okay. And overall, if you go to see in terms of where cost of materials is concerned, how is the raw material trend looking like?
as you correctly stated, that in the last 12 odd months, we have faced many odd lot challenges on the raw material prices front, like whether it being a cotton yarn or it is any another chemical to be named. We have seen a huge surge in the prices. But as we are most of the cotton based industry, and we are into the cotton based industry, we are able to pass on the surge of the prices into our finished goods, and we can see that in the realization per meter of our product, finished product, has increased 25 odd percent in the last 12 months.
Okay. So overall, have we passed on the costs as well?
Yes, we will be able to. We are fortunate enough that we are able to pass on, and even though we are with the better utilization of the capacities, we are able to make some good operational margins also.
And then overall, if you have to see in terms of the top 10 clients, what's the revenue contribution we see from them?
Our top 10 clients of the Vishal Fabrics, or the denim segment per se, they contribute almost 30% of the total revenue.
Okay. And overall, if you see in terms of the second quarter as well, we've seen very good growth that did come in, right? So is this kind of trend expected to continue in the coming quarters as well?
Yeah, we have also seen a good growth in the top line front in Q2, and we are expecting with the situation, the orders on hand at this point of time, we are seeing that at least H2 will be on the same path, and the same growth will be quoting by the company in the upcoming 2 quarters.
Okay, and what's the kind of capacity utilization we are working with right now?
See, as the denim segment is consistently working anything above 85%, and for this quarter, I am hopeful that we will be quoting something above 88% in the utilization front. But there was some disturbance in the narrow unit for the last quarter, and they have seen the utilizations to the tune of 50 to 60 odd percent because of some situations were arising on association front that they have to shut down the capacities, and because of the surge in the raw material prices, and the association has taken care of that. But now the things are on the normal side, and the capacity utilization in the older plant processing unit is also on the 90 odd percent.
Okay. And in future, what's the capacity expansion plan looking like?
As I mentioned earlier, we are targeting a 25% increase in the capacity of the denim unit. That is the 2 more lines. Currently, we have the 8 denim lines available with us, and we are coming up with the expansion of 2 more denim lines. 1 denim line will be commercialized in this year only, and I'm hopeful that in this quarter only, because the implementation is under process always, and the second line will be coming up in the Q1 of next fiscal year.
Okay, and what's the kind of fund requirement for the same, and how are we funding it?
See, this is the backward integration, what I am talking of. Already we have a forward integration to available the capacity which we are looking to serve to. And this backward integration costs us 30 odd crores, and which is being funded by the internal accruals only.
Okay. And overall, very lastly, going ahead, Vinay, what are the key milestones we are looking to cross from here on?
See, first of all, as I mentioned, that we are targeting a better utilization of capacity at this point of time, and we are now targeting a few more export segments and export markets such as US, Latin American markets, and the European markets. So these are basically what the 2-year plan for the company is, to add the new geographies into the basket, to target the new markets, new customers globally. And secondly, as we are coming up with the expansion in the capacity, these capacities dedicatedly towards the export markets. So we don't want to lose any footprints in the domestic market, being constant on the capacity side. So we have come up with the expansion that already we were catering the domestic markets pre-COVID also. We will be continuing to catering the same segment and adding the exports. So in 2 years, what if I say, like company is targeting anything above 1,800 to 2,000 crores of revenue in the revenue front, so that I'm hopeful that we'll be achieving the same by FY24.
Absolutely. And that looks the strong roadmap from here on as well. Thank you, Vinay, so much for joining us on the show. As always, a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for the insights. Good luck, stay safe, and speak to you soon again.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.